And it's quite different in a few of the Ross routes. It's not particularly broken down, but it's the first few normal hard stages and like all those 3 or 4 stages run by Kerry, like finish and then up until the stage on Seskin. Like that's going to be a real key part of the race. Like 190k and Kerry roads with a few climbs and stuff. There mightn't be anything major in terms of climbing, but it's Kerry roads for 190k. It's going to be real difficult. But in saying that, it's the Ross. It can happen any day, anywhere. But it looks like a pretty grippy route.
Is it a route that you like? I mean, does it suit your characteristics?
Yeah, I mean, the Ross, it's always the same type of rider wins it usually. You need to be able to climb and ride in a crosswind and all that, but I mean, the biggest thing the biggest thing you need to be is just active and to be conscious of what's going on and to be in everything. And it's more the same. It's going to be an aggressive route and it's going to be a hard route, a real sort of war of attrition kind of route, but the Ross always is. So it's more the same.
You were second last year, but on the same time as the winner. So, I mean, thinking back to the race, is there anything you would have changed, or where do you see it slip away from you?
I mean, there's always a few things. It's easy to look back on and change, but at the time, if I was to do them, I'll probably do the same thing anyway. Like sort of leading out the sprint on the first stage where I lost 40 places after doing the lead out. If I hadn't have done that, I would have had the yellow jersey. Maybe not riding the stage I was third in. If I was a bit more conservative and held the wheel on the sprint or took the corner better in the last corner and not got a time gap of a second, I would have won the jersey. So it's easy to look back, but generally the race, the road was pretty spot on.
How big would it be for you to win? Having ridden so well here in the past.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter how well I've done before. It's kind of just about winning now. In a way, you're on a high to nothing because you finished fourth and second. All you can do is win. So if I go now, anything other than a win will be a disappointment. But I'm still motivated to go and do it, So it'll be very big as an Irish rider to win it.
Obviously, you've got other races as well this year with Synergy Baku team. So what are the other targets you're looking at?
I started in Istria Trophy in Croatia. It's a few one days and then a stage race, and then I go to Tour of Brittany, Tour of Normandy, the Zanzi Tour, Loire Cher, Azerbaijan potentially, and then the Ross. So I've got a lot of week-long stage races, hard, good races up until that point. So that's for me, just any race, picking up a few wins. That's the goal. I'll have certain periods we'll aim to be good for, but there's no real particular race in the first half of the year I want to be good for. I just want to be competitive and win a few races or get a few results.
Tell me, you looked back at the stages, Connor, and you were telling me where you lost the time.
There was no time.
Well, stop that. We'll go back again. You could have won it.
I probably lost it on the first day. Leading up, my teammate lost like 40 positions in the bunch sprint, and that's what it came down to.
Tell me, during the course of the Ross, so important in terms of GC to be up at the head of the race, and of course Biel Blocky was there all the time. I mentioned earlier on Moreno de Pau when he won the 5th stage into Mitchelstown. What were your plans coming towards the end of that stage?
Yeah, I mean, it's like every day in the Ross, you try to stay in contention all the time. You be in every break and every move, you don't let anything go. And then you try to take advantage of it when you can. That day was the same. It was a 40-50 man group and there was a lot of attacking coming in the road, and eventually 3 of us got away from Martin, who was shutting everything down, and we just rode the last 3k away from the peloton, and obviously there was 2 of us for the GC there, and the guy who won, Moreno, had nothing to ride for apart from the win, so he didn't ride, and then he jumped us in the last corner.
He went on to take the stage. Is there any chance that with your team coming next year you could make the names a little bit easier? I mean, Pozhnikov isn't too easy to pronounce at the start of the week. You could work on more Irish riders. What's the plans in terms of your team for the race?
I actually haven't seen the programme yet in terms of everyone. That will be decided. I mean, there'll probably be a bit of pull to have Bramar here being national champion. It'll be the first time a national champion's ridden the Ross in a long time, I think. But no one really knows yet, to be honest.
Can I ask you, as an international rider now and a professional rider, what it means. I have an idea from a domestic-based rider, but what does it mean to an international rider to stand on the podium of the Ross?
It's the same as a domestic rider. You know, when you're Irish, it's your home race. It's the biggest race we can do, and there's such a heritage and history to it. Like even here in the pro bunch or the international bunch, people talk about it. Like it's so well known. It is a real honour. Like for example, last week I was in Girona having dinner, and Don Roland was there, and the conversation turned to Ross, and like or with Dan Martin, Nielstad, and the conversation will turn to the Ross, and everyone just talks about it. It punches above its weight in terms of its how the history of it and how people talk about it, and it's great. Yeah.